Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. We are in the second week of July and I am going to break down this week's trading. I do want to take out the privacy filter into dollar amount, but first I got to filter it to July 7th to 10th because right now today is Thursday. We do have one more trading day tomorrow, but I'll see if I take any trades. So far, I am up $28. My trade win percentage is 33%. Profit factor is 1.5. Day win percentage is 50%. Average win to loss is 3.02. Honestly, I kind of feel happy about this because my average win to loss is pretty high. I never ever seen a 3 in my life. Usually it's always lower than 2. But this week's been changing and I don't know, it just feels really different. It's just feeling really different. When my trade percentage is pretty low, like under 50%, I'm usually always down, but finally I'm up. I did actually start trading on my live account last week in July 1st, but it didn't move to my live account. It was on my paper trading for some reason. I did take 2 trades on Monday, but they're both losers, and I was trying to short both positions. My risk to reward or my realized R multiple is a 1 or a -1. So that means I'm really focusing on my risk to reward right now. So if it's a 1 or under that, then that's a pretty good loss for me. I'm going to show you guys a live trade first, and then I'll break down the trade. Basically what I saw in the morning was that I didn't really like anything because we were in a zone. So I'm waiting for an intraday break and retest. And if I don't see that, I'm not going to take a trade. So in the morning, what I saw was that the Nasdaq was wicking off this level multiple times. And after I seen that, and also the ES was also like above the demand zone. I'm not going to take the long because I'm not really liking the charts. And I was only going to take it if it was a break and retest short. Later on the day, we did get the break that I was waiting for. And then later we got the retest. Once I got the retest, waiting for the retest, it started rejecting this level. That's when I decided to take the trade. At first, I was going to do the ES because the risk was a bit better, and I was going to give it this high on the ES right here. But then I decided to get the Nasdaq instead. I also liked how the Nasdaq, it broke down more, and it was giving me that bear flag that I was looking for into the retest short. But as you can see that I didn't get it. I didn't get the proper retest. I did get the proper retest, but it just didn't have any continuation, like how the ES was. The ES was just breaking down, and I would have gotten my TP right there, but I just got a good trade, but I just chose the wrong market basically. I did re-enter the trade because I saw the Nasdaq, it was still rejecting, and the bear flag looked really good, and the ES was still rejecting. But for some reason, the Nasdaq was just sloppy. I just lost the trade. But as you see from the ES, I could have got a 3-1 here and also a 2-1 here, because if I pop my stop where I was going to, which was this level right here, I would have never gotten out and I would have gotten my trade. Showing you guys the 30-minute time frame, show you guys the bigger picture of the market. The Nasdaq level that I got, or I retested the short off of, it was like 22,912, and it was pretty choppy from the previous day. But it was, although it was holding like the pre-market, the day on the intraday, it was like it kept wicking back down, and it was like kind of sloppy. But for the ES, we see that it is the high of day of the previous day, and the pre-market was exactly the 62.90 that was actually getting respected. And I knew that at first, and that's why I wanted the ES to actually break down properly, and then I'll take the trade. But I ended up trading the Nasdaq, but maybe I was thinking about the money, or also I was thinking that the bear flag and the proper retest was a little better on the Nasdaq, so I traded the Nasdaq. It was a good setup, it was a good trade, but I just executed on the wrong market, or else this would have been a W trade. It sucks that I lost, but I gotta move on and just not think about it. I did have proper risk management. I only took 2 trades. I'm not going to keep trying to trade again, even though it worked. The next day on Tuesday, did take no trades because the market was choppy. I think I did have a level on the ES, which was around this level right here, but it was kind of choppy, so I didn't want it anymore. I just removed it out to my charts. I didn't want to have more noise on my screen, and I was only going to trade if there was a break and retest of these levels on the market. And the Nasdaq, it does have this small level here, but I know I'm going to play off the ES because this area right here is like pretty choppy, and I just want to have that zone there because sometimes I just like seeing what the market or the level can actually do. The next trading day, which is Wednesday, this is when I did take a trade. It was a short position again because it was the all-time highs on the Nasdaq. But first I'm going to show you guys the bigger picture. Here's the Nasdaq 30-minute chart, and we can see the wick high, which is the all-time highs on the Nasdaq, is 23,101, which was where it was, and that's where I decided to short that position. We do have a smaller level here, which is the 23,030, because it has this wick right here and also has a small hold, so that's why I was targeting that low. I didn't want to like just ignore it because I also want to respect the level. The 30 minutes on the ES, the all-time highs is a little different. This discrepancy is a little bit different because the all-time highs on the ES is 63.30, and although it didn't get to that level, I still decided to short because there was also a different level on the market, which was 63.15, that it did reject on the previous or the other week. It rejected right there, and once I started seeing it reject as well on the ES, then I decided to take a trade. In the morning, the market just went straight up, and I just thought maybe I wouldn't have trade anything today. I was being patient. I was like, maybe there's not gonna be any trades today. It is what it is. I'm not gonna force anything, and I'm just gonna move on to the next day. But it was still early on the day. I was only gonna take a trade if it broke down this zone right here, but then it already opened around this area on the Nasdaq right here, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to do a break and retest. I did have a small zone here, but the market just went straight up. There was no like really retest. But once I started seeing the Nasdaq, it rejected once. It started rejecting more. That's just the first rejection, but we still are in a strong market, so I didn't really want to take the trade. I'm just like, it's not even in my head right now. It's not even like, I'm not going to short it because it's just too early. I started to see more failures, how it had a wick right there. It started sliding up more. It rejected exactly under that level or at that level. And then I did take my position on this green arrow right there. The ES, although it had this major supply rejection or the all-time highs, this rejection was also like big from the previous day. So that's why I did decide to short on this level right here. Just targeted 2-to-1. My risk was just above this level right here. I got it in the green candle or green arrow, and I targeted a 2-to-1, which was basically closest to this demand zone right here. And I didn't want to like not respect it. It would have been better if I targeted 3-to-1, but that's just not respecting the zone right there. And I did win about $84. It wasn't exactly a 2-to-1. I was trying to play with the stop loss and target profit, which was different. It's just annoying how in paper trading it's so much easier, like the stop loss and target profit, you can just like move it. And when I actually went to my Elaborate trading account, everything is just different. I don't know why. I just manually exited the trade. In this trade, I risked about, I think, $46, which was the wick high of this area right here. I was supposed to target $92, which that would have been a 2-to-1 exactly. And I did get the $92. When I saw it, I tried to exit, but then since it took a little time, I lost a bit of money, but it was still a good profit target. It was $84. The reason why I took the trade is because it was all-time highs on the Nasdaq. It was also rejecting the ES level right here, but I did like how the market went straight up right there, and it didn't really give a pullback. And I know that I've seen a couple times when the market goes to a supply rejection, people think it's going to go up higher and they try to long it, but then they get trapped. I see multiple rejections on the level over here, basically a triple top, but I would just consider this a double top. It goes down, it goes back up, and it rejects again, so I would just say it's a double top. And then I started seeing more confirmation, and then I decided to short it. Breaking down Thursday, which is today, did not take any trades, and the market was still in a zone. It's because we do still have the all-time highs at 23,101. ES was still in the middle of a zone, so when I'm in the middle of a zone, I don't really take any trades there. I wait for levels to actually hit. I wait for the break and retest of levels. I did actually get a break over here on the ES, but it was something I didn't really want to take because the Nasdaq was kind of weak right here. Although this is a demand zone that could just be bought back up right here, but I just didn't really want to take this small zone right here. Although it did work, I could have got a 3-to-1 right there, but I just didn't want to take it. That is my week so far. I am up $28, and it feels different because I have a proper risk reward. Right now I have a 3-to-1 risk reward for this week. On this trade, I was risking about $46, and then my 2-to-1 would have been $92. But on these trades on Monday, since I was only risking like 16 points or 18 points, whatever, my risk reward for a 2-to-1 would have been like $40, $50 if I won on the trade. Since I focus on my risk reward, I know that my strategy has a positive risk reward. I don't need a 100% win rate or like 50%. I can always still have like a 30%, 40%. And if I do have a good risk reward, I can always be up. And it's all probability. All you need to do is have a positive risk reward, have a good game plan, have good strategy, have good risk management, and you can be consistent, you can be profitable. And what I like to say is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day. And I'll see you in the next one.